Men's basketball is back in action.
And track and field sets new records.
All this and more coming up on the Penguin Rundown. Welcome back to the first episode of the semester of the Penguin Rundown. We are so excited to be back. I'm Kelsey Norris alongside Abigail Cloutier. Abigail, we're going to get started with some basketball, football. We have it all, pretty much.
Yeah, and this season, too, there are regular spring sports starting off with the delayed sports like football. So we're really excited to have a really full season.
Yeah, and we know that our athletic department is making sure all of the COVID measures are being taken care of. And first, I think you're going to get us started with some track and field.
The track and field team hosted the YSU Collegiate Invitational this past weekend at the Watts. The Penguins earned 23 top 5 finishes, earning the title in 7 events. On the women's side, sophomore Janiyah Bowers clocked the nation's fastest 60-meter dash of the 2021 indoor season with a time of 7.57 seconds. Junior Lauren Dolick won the 800-meter run with a time of 2 minutes and 20.55 seconds. On the men's side, senior Sean Peterson won his only race of the day, the mile, with a time of 4 minutes and 14.72 seconds. Sophomore transfer Chase Easterling took the top spot in the 3,000-meter run with a time of 8 minutes and 29.45 seconds. Sophomore Dominic Perry finished first in the shot put with a mark of 17.60 meters. Senior DeQuayne Watson secured another win for the Gwins in the long jump with a jump of 7.09 meters. Most notably, junior Wyatt Lefker set a new indoor record in the pole vault, clearing 4.93 meters. The track and field team is set to return to action January 29th and 30th when they host the YSU Mid-Major Invitational at the Watts.
The women's bowling team planned to compete in the Motive Penguin Classic this past weekend, but it was canceled due to COVID-19 restrictions. Key bowlers to keep an eye on this season are freshman Madison Marks and senior Emma Dockery. In the team's first contest back in October, the Bearcat Hammer Open, Marks and Dockery led the team to a second-place overall finish. The Gwins finished that weekend 8-5 and got their third win over a number 1 ranked team in program history. It was also the first time the women's bowling team has beaten a top-ranked team in bracket play. The Penguins are next set to compete at the Columbiana 300 Saints Invite in Missouri, Friday through Sunday.
The Youngstown State men's basketball team has taken the floor 14 times since our last episode. During the 14-game stretch, the Penguins are even at 7 wins and 7 losses. The team is 4-0 in non-conference play, but are 3-7 in Horizon League contests. The Gwins have fared well on their home court with a solid record of 4-1 inside the Beagley Center. 2 members of the team have made history early in the year as junior Darius Quisenberry and senior Naz Bohannon have both reached the 1,000-point plateau in their Youngstown State career. Quisenberry scored 1,000 points on December 13th at Binghamton, while Bohannon reached 1,000 points on January 9th at Wright State. The Penguins most recently traveled to play Oakland last Friday and Saturday, but came up short both nights, being swept by the Grizzlies. Freshman guard Miles Hunter was a bright spot over the weekend, leading YSU offensively with 18 points on both Friday and Saturday. The performance by Hunter was enough to name him the Nike Horizon League Freshman of the Week. The men's team looks to get back on track with a home series this weekend against UIC. Both games are slated to start at 5 p.m. You can watch the games on ESPN Plus or listen on 570 WKBN. We're now going to send it over to Richard and Kyle at the roundtable for more on the men's basketball team.
Welcome to the roundtable. I'm Kyle Wills alongside Richie Giuliano. Richie, men's basketball was able to start over break. They've played 14 games so far and currently sit at 7-7. Unfortunately, Darius Quisenberry got hurt early on, which has led the way for Naz Bohannon to step up and play a big role for this team this year, and he's having a breakout year so far. He's averaging a near double-double, 16.5 points, 8.4 rebounds, and he's one of the only threats for YSU in the paint so far this year, and he's been a real big presence.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he's the senior leader that Youngstown State needed. Without Darius Quisenberry, Naz Bohannon has carried the load, and one thing I really like about Naz Bohannon is just his pure strength. He's not the tallest forward in the league, but he could bully you down low, and he will create second chances for himself. Another thing I like is his basketball IQ. He knows where to be at the right time. When a shot goes up, he's always in the right position. So Naz Bohannon, like you mentioned, a near double-double every game, has really created a good opportunity for himself this year and a good look to get drafted in the NBA.
And one thing that I've liked about this YSU team so far is that they've been able to shine under the lights. And one example of this has been their buzzer beater win against Wright State 2 weeks ago. Naz Bohannon had the ball up top and found Covington in the late seconds underneath the basket. And it was a big win for YSU, not only because it was a division win, but it was against a team like Wright State, who each year has put up a competitive team year in and year out.
Yeah, Wright State historically is one of the best teams in the Horizon League. And for Youngstown State to go out there with 5 freshmen on the floor at one time and to be able to compete with Wright State down the road was really impressive. I mean, you look at this team, 2 out of their 3 wins in Horizon League play this year have been on ESPN2. So that's a good sign for head coach Jared Calhoun, knowing that when those bright lights are shining, his team's going to compete at the highest level.
Well, some people that have been shining under the lights have been the freshmen, and out of the 8 total freshmen, 7 have played in at least 10 games. And out of the freshmen, who do you think have stepped up the most so far?
Well, first is Miles Hunter. He's coming off of his best series of the year at Oakland. He averaged 18 points in both games, was able to shoot the ball really well, shoots 45% from 3, which is the biggest margin by any Youngstown State player. Another player is Shamar Rattan-Mays, who's really taken over the point guard role really well after Darius Quisenberry went down. Rattan-Mays has provided that offensive force, being second on the team in scoring at 144 points, and he dishes the ball really well. He's got great court vision, able to penetrate, kick out for others. He's got 42 assists on the year, and I think he's replaced Darius Quisenberry really well.
Well, moving forward, one thing that YSU needs to do is to continue to win the turnover margin, and so far they're +3 in that, and they have forced 13.6 turnovers so far this year. What's one thing that you think that YSU needs to continue to build on?
One thing they need to continue to build on is rebounding. I think they rebound the basketball really well for being undersized in the league. I mean, they win the rebounding battle by more than 4 a game, which is really impressive. You got Michael Akuche down low. You got Naz Bohannon and a couple freshmen like William Dunn and Kenny Ganley Jr. who have crashed the boards really well for Youngstown State, and I think that attributes to their practices. They do a lot of box outs and practices, and you know, even though they aren't the biggest team in the league, they're scrappy and they're able to crash the boards, which is good.
Well, that'll be it for the roundtable this week. I'm Kyle Wills alongside Richie Giuliano. Back to Abigail and Kelsey.
And now the YSU women's basketball team finally opened up their season on New Year's Day against Wright State at the Beagley Center as the 2 teams faced off on the first and the second. The Penguins would fall in a nail-biter, 57-53 on the first, and again on the second, 71-61. The women returned to action on the 8th and 9th at the Beagley Center, where they took on Oakland. YSU came up short on the 8th, losing 71-61, before turning around on the 9th, defeating the Golden Grizzlies 72-57. On the 11th, forward Nneka Obiizor was named Horizon League Freshman of the Week after averaging 17 points and 10 rebounds in YSU's 2 games versus Oakland. This past weekend, the Penguins traveled to UIC, where they took on the Flames at Credit Union 1 Arena. The women defeated UIC on Friday 77-66, and then again on Saturday 66-59. In the win on Friday, senior guard Chelsea Olsen would score career point number 1,000 in her 20-point performance. Obiizor earned herself Nike Horizon League Freshman of the Week for the 2nd week in a row. YSU will return to action this Friday and Saturday at the Beagley Center, where they face off against Detroit Mercy.
The volleyball team will be returning to action after the Horizon League recently released a 16-match schedule. All of the events will be held on Mondays and Tuesdays with 8 home matches and 8 away matches. Following their 8-21 season in 2019 and missing their most recent fall season, the Penguins will be relying on the experience of upperclassmen such as Libby Darling, Alyssa Oswald, and Margot Thompson. Their first match of the spring season is set for Monday, January 25th against IUPUI at home in the Beagley Center. First serve will be at 6 p.m.
After not being able to compete in the fall, the football team is preparing to finally suit up for a spring season. The Missouri Valley Football Conference will play a full 8-game spring league schedule that is set to begin at the end of February. The Penguins have acquired 12 new players, transferring from all over the country, including 8 seniors, to prepare for this spring season. All the transfers will be eligible to play, and the team is looking forward to a great season as they finally get ready to play behind the new head coach, Doug Phillips. And now we'll send it over to Katie Rogers-Vidala with the Play of the Week.
Thanks, guys. Since things look a little different this semester, we chose the best play of the break, which comes from the men's basketball team in a thriller buzzer beater by Garrett Covington. Let's take a look. The score is tied 72-72 between the Gwins and Wright State with under 10 seconds left. We see Nas Bohannon dribbling at the top of the key as time expires, and right at the last second, he finds Covington under the basket for the win. Nas brings all of his defenders towards him, which lets Covington sneak right behind his defender and score with less than a second remaining on the clock. Congratulations to Garrett on being the play of the break, and congratulations to the entire men's basketball team on a fantastic win. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Katie. That'll do it for us here at the Penguin Rundown. For news, highlights, and more, be sure to check out ysusports.com and follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Penguin Rundown 1. I'm Kelsey Norris.
And I'm Abigail Cloutier.
We'll see you next week, Penguins.